Recommendations for a healthy voice will now be shared with you. We will discuss vocal hygiene and how we can improve it. But what is vocal hygiene? Vocal hygiene is any action or behavior that aims to help our voice in order to keep it healthy. You can improve your vocal hygiene by drinking small sips of water throughout the day. You don't need to drink your whole water bottle the moment you wake up, just a few sips here and there. If you feel the need to cough or clear your throat like this, it's a good idea to take a sip of water or swallow with effort instead. In addition, it is best to avoid beverages that contain caffeine, such as coffee, tea, and soft drinks. If you feel your voice is more tired than usual, it's best to give your voice a break for at least 15 minutes. Reading a book in silence or watching television are examples of activities in which you can rest your voice. It is recommended to use a cat voice as much as possible instead of a tiger voice. Here is an example of a cat voice.
I'm using my cat voice.
This means using a voice of normal intensity. When we use a cat's voice, the vocal cords move and vibrate gently as they should. Here is an example of a tiger voice.
I'm using my tiger voice.
That voice is way too loud. When we use a tiger voice, this is what happens to the vocal cords. When necessary, use a mouse voice instead of whispering. Here's an example of a whispered voice.
I'm currently whispering.
When you whisper, this is what happens to your vocal cords. You see, the vocal cords don't move like they should. Here's an example of a mouse voice.
I'm using my mouse voice.
When we use this type of voice, we speak with a voice that is not loud, but without whispering. When we use a mouse voice, this is what happens to the vocal cords. They move and vibrate gently as they should. Dear parents, here are some tips to help improve your child's vocal hygiene. The vocal cords must be hydrated, just like the rest of our body. The best way to tell if your child is drinking enough water is to look at the color of their urine. It should be a pale yellow. If it's too dark, that's a sign that they haven't had enough to drink. If your child does not like to drink water, you can give them food that contain a lot of it. For example, cucumber, melons, celery, and if your child does not have reflux, even tomatoes. Another way to help with your child's vocal hygiene is to make sure the humidity level in your home is between 40 and 50%. This is even more important in the winter. With the heating, the air can get dry inside the home. If your child tends to breathe through their mouth, they should be encouraged to breathe through their nose if possible. This will notably reduce the dryness in their throat. Earlier in the video, we mentioned that your child should use their cat voice as much as possible. In fact, all family members are encouraged to use this type of voice. This gives the appropriate model to the child, and he or she will feel less alone working on their vocal hygiene. To help your child use their cat voice, you can reduce the noise in the environment. For example, reduce the music volume or the volume on the television. The easiest part about working on your vocal hygiene is that it can be done anywhere, anytime. Thank you for listening.